Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I'm recording this on May the 27th, just past noon. And trigger warning, the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. Disclaimer, all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. And in today's case, I'm looking at Matthew Trickett, who was allegedly accused of spying for Hong Kong in the UK. And of course, this must have triggered off an international situation, as this is quite a recent case. Matthew was found deceased on May 19, 2024, and the red block that I have here is the time frame in which he would have been found. So the time that he was found, which was approximately 5:15, would include these numbers: 24/6, 15/6, and 8. Now we're treating this as the discovery day and not necessarily the day he died. Okay. All right. Another key date that I've added to the chart is May 13, 2024. And that was the court appearance that he had, which is this image on the left here when he left the courts. So that's the May the 13th. So I've included that as a marker because, like the event day or the discovery day, we will also have information around the court day because it plays in the same timeline as this case. Okay. So immediately what I'm going to do, so I did a little bit of prep work just to gauge, do we have something here? Was it natural? Was it suicide? Was there foul play? Just so that I can determine whether we have a case or not, right? So there we go there. So, and I'll mark this one as orange. That will be our secondary, but important nonetheless. And then each of these events, 72 hours later, will give us the summary. All right, so then the second blue block will be May 16, which then is the reflection of May 13. So by including May 13, will also allow me to identify similar numbers leading up to May 13 and after, in looking at what transpired around May 19, and do we pick up similar numbers as well. Okay. Now, on a personal level, when you look at these two pictures, of course, the one on the right is alarming, so just watch out for that in terms of triggering. But the picture on the left here I find very interesting. And the reason being is this is how Matthew walked out the courtroom, knowing, of course, that there would be photographers and so on. But what is he doing? He's holding his eyes and he's holding his mouth. So what is he saying? Is he saying he hasn't said anything? Remember, we're dealing with spy world here. He hasn't said anything. He's letting his handlers know he hasn't said anything. And also, possibility could be that facial recognition as well. But I believe it may be the former that I'm looking at it now. So let's have a look and see what happened. At the time that he was discovered, 24/6, so that's already is going to tell us alarm bells in that. Whoever did this was familiar to him. I don't believe it. First of all, I don't believe it was a suicide. That's the first thing. And the reason being, let's sort out the suicide issue first, right? So the reason being is the day before, May 18, 2024. Now, full disclosure, I haven't looked at time to time what he was doing before, where he was. I haven't done any of that. All I've done is looked at one or two articles, what the accusations are, when he was discovered, and when he went to court. Okay? But the day before, May 18, I got there's several detrimental numbers here, but there are two in particular, 31-4, I want to mark in orange, and 13-4, of course, right? Both these numbers here, the day before, at the end of the day, so this could even be nighttime. 31-4 already tells me that there's a deceased body. There's a deceased body. By the end of May 18, a deceased body exists. 31-4. According to plan 22-4, and we'll go deeper on the plan side, but I'm just pointing this out with an outcome 13-4, a death. And this is why I highlighted that May 19 is a discovery day. I believe the assassination or murder would have happened on May 18. That for me is actually the event day, yeah. The real event day. So if that is the case, and I believe it to be so, the true reflection day is here. So while we're recording this, based on what I've just said, I'm moving this blue block here. And I'm moving this red block here. Let me just grab it here, beg your pardon. Okay. That for me tells me the exact story. This was definitely not a suicide. So how does a dead body on May 18 walk, get up in the morning, have coffee and a bagel, and then walk over to the park? Unless it was other people having coffee and a bagel with a body in the back of a boot somewhere that transport the body to the park. That's, in my mind, the only way a corpse can get to the park by itself, because 31-4 is a corpse, is decomposition of the body 4. In my opinion. So unless we know about any zombie experiments, that to be the case, the people taking him to the park, he would have been transported there. And we'll get into the who and why and all this thing. So this year is a discovery day. That's it. Now, the problem is on the discovery day, we have a famous number, 14-5. How beautiful is numerology? 14-5, foul play. 14-5, what we know about the situation is a lie. There's another key marker. This is not what we know it to be. And I found the articles in the online articles quite interesting. One goes, ex-Marine found suspiciously deceased, but his death is not suspicious. Or are we coding country to country saying, All right, we accept the fact that this person was spying for you on us from a UK perspective. We accept the fact that you had to take out the operative. We accept that, but we also acknowledge that you were spying on us. But we accept that you've taken care of the problem. So we will regard this as non-suspicious. And let it blow over. But there were two alleged perpetrators, one being Matthew and another gentleman. Now, who do we see here on May 21, which is now the new reflection zone here, and summary? 26-8. Now, we'll note it sits in the same position, and I'm going to move it there, as the discovery zone. Okay, it sits in the same position. So it's a staging. However they found Matthew on the bench, he was placed there as a staging, 268 staging. And these 16-7 operatives, because here's the operatives here, we'll talk about where they pinged Nana. But this is what I'm picking up from the situation. So whoever did this to him, whoever murdered Matthew Trickett, was familiar to him, 24-6. There's this 15-6, which plays, I believe, a significant role in this case, 15-6, 24-6 and 6. Are the people who came to hunt and kill him. However, there are other people involved as well. The higher-ups, here's it here, 19-10-1. Other people involved, and I believe whoever took out Matthew, and this is my opinion, whoever took out Matthew, whatever government or agency, the MI6 were aware of it. Or at least say, well, MI6, but let's say internal security, national security service people, whoever they are, Cobra or whoever, were aware of this situation already. Why? Because at the start of the day of the staging, we have a 19-10-1. Now, coincidence or not, 19-10-1. Now, I'm not saying they were involved, but certainly there was some kind of surveillance and they would have known what happened to him. Of course, they were going to monitor him. This guy's wanted for treason of the highest caliber. But there's other people involved here. You will note on May 21 in the blue area here, May 21, we have 3 8s. This whole situation has got out of control. Look at the day before, May 18. I'll highlight it. We got 8s out of control. Things are out of control in the background here. And these are government people as well, huh? Communications, global situation happening right in front of us. It's a dangerous game, but some people get their kicks, right? So the day before Matthew goes to court, May 12, we've got 8s out of control here. There's certain imbalances happening here. It's almost like the can has been opened. can of worms. So having done a review and just get a sense of what was going on here, I'm of the opinion, and I came to a realization that although there's a lot of agencies involved here, because we can appreciate that, yes, of course, naturally the UK would be on alert. One of their own is spying for Hong Kong, aka China. So the MI6 would be around. 16.7, if you look here, 16.7, just the number 16.7. So before he goes to court, the supposed day that he dies, in the reflection, we've got a 16.7. I'm just looking here because it is important. So May 16, 16.7 is about surveillance. 16.7 is about surveillance in this scenario. So there's it there as well, 16.7. He was being surveilled. And of course, but he wasn't being surveilled only by the UK. Because I believe the people that took him out weren't from the UK. I don't believe the British government was involved in the actual murder of Matthew Trickett, in my opinion. Nor I don't believe that there were British operatives. And this is when I made the realization. And that is why I brought in VP, China, ZP, Russia, and the Federal Security Service. We've got a 26.8 pings directly on Russia. We'll note the 24.6 there with Russia's details. 24.6 on the day of supposed discovery. The day of the death, look at this one. This is more impactful. That's why I'm going to highlight it here. So people may be aware of the situation, right? Like, in other words, if Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, and I'll get to my realization, because wouldn't it be startling that Russia and China, and I don't mean to sound completely naive, but we know they're allies in the global scheme of things, right? I think we can agree on that. But what I'm getting to is, in my opinion, they're working closer together than we may know. (31/4, 22/4, 13/4), right? This is when I believe he was murdered. So any time from evening until sunrise the next day. Pings here. These are your old school KGB type people. You're now Federal Security Service operatives. Who are, now this is where the realization came from. So why would Matthew, who is spying for Hong Kong, aka China, that's one thing, but why would there be Russian operatives on the scene? Do you know what I'm saying? Why would there be Russian operatives on the scene? This is Russia here, where I believe Matthew, because look here, May 17. I'm going to orange that because that is quite a serious day here as well. Look here, we got the 888s out of sync, right? Now, 21-3. That is an abduction, or it's not even a kidnapping. It's kidnapping as you want ransom, right? Abduction, you take them for purpose, whether for murder or whatever. But 21-3, Matthew, by the end of that evening, I believe he may even already be in trouble here. The dates and that we know is not what we know here. But I can, without a doubt, by midnight, May 18, we have a corpse. Without a doubt. And the 31-4, 13-4 pings right here. Federal Security Services. We got exactly the following day, 24-6, pings directly on Russia, 24-6. And we know there's Russians in the UK, lots. Right. The very reflection day, so this is, now we're talking, these numbers, 31-4, 13-4, 24-6 are in the crime scene. They're in the crime scene. They're at the crime scene, Even on the reflection day, May 21, the rule is we've got to find them in the crime scene as well as the reflection zone. 26-8, what do we have? We'll get it for you now. Where did I see it? My goodness, yeah. 26-8, beg your pardon. 26-8, Russia. Who's also got a 24-6 Federal Security Services? 24-6 is the number, people. Sorry, 24-6 is the number. Ping-ponging like a winner. Now, this is why I was raising the issue, because China is around as well. China is around. There's 23-5. Let's do that. 23-5, so we'll do green. But China's not at the crime scene. You know what I mean? It's not I don't believe there's a physical person from China on the scene. Because that was my initial look. Was there an operative from China there? And I'm getting although China's involved, it's not Chinese operatives sorting out the issue. It is Russian operatives sorting out an issue for China. In my opinion. There's already enough evidence for me. Now, I received an image before going deep into the numbers. Now, we don't know what the autopsy report is. We don't know what the actual physical, but I got a feeling that Matthew had been shot through the head and either went, so from his head, left to right, so his right side of his head, but I believe the bullet may have either gone into his left shoulder or through his left shoulder. And the trajectory would have been from a standing position where Matthew would be seated. That was the psychic impression that I received before reading. So we got double sixes here. 6 will say guns or knives. The reflection zone also shows 6. 6 could even have been 2 bullets, but how does one kill themselves with 2 bullets, right? So who was the other person? Or is there going to be a second person taken out? Because I'm seeing on the agenda 2 people going to be taken out. But the startling thing for me as well, and of course all respect to Matthew, living a dangerous life, but is Russia aiding China on foreign soil with dirty work? Interesting question. All right, so definitely something going on here. Please leave your comments, and I love engaging with your comments. And please stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.